This person said, I'm trying to forgive my husband for having a long-term emotional affair, but I have no idea how to trust and move forward.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's such a hard situation to be in.
Right. I even think of just an emotional affair, right? So it's like not physical, so it almost feels like sometimes I feel like I would experience that and think I'm being dramatic, like, because there was nothing that happened, right? But
Right.
there was.
Yes. Nothing that happened. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Oh my gosh, because it feels so violating, right? And that's why those things are so damaging and so hard to move past, because it's like, wait, now do I have to be like hyper vigilant about all relationships, right? Like there's so much fear in that, right? Because now you're like, wait, who are you talking to? What does that mean? You're going to work? I'm not with you when you're at work. Are there women that you work with? Like it just brings like your defenses way, way up.
Right.
That's so,
Especially as women, I think, we already, a lot of times, I mean, men too, but I think of myself and, the insecurities that I have, I think that just brings them to the surface. Cause you're like, why does this person have that I don't have, and I mean, you could say that with a physical affair, an emotional affair, all of it, I think that it just really brings insecurity to the surface.
oh my gosh, of course, of course. I know I try to put myself in that position. I was thinking about what that would be like, and I know that would be something I would 100% be struggling with as well. Something that I will say in terms of like trying to build trust back up, because it's so hard. First, it takes so long to do that, right? Like Brene Brown talks about the marble jar. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but how building trust is like putting a marble in a jar, and it's going to take a lot of marbles before that jar is full, right? And so it's just slowly letting that build and slowly like letting your husband do, hopefully he's doing the next right thing. Hopefully he's being transparent, right? And that if you have that thought, if you have that fear, if you have that little inkling, like ask, right? Don't let that fear, don't let that inkling, don't let that trigger fester, because then that jar is never going to get full, because then you can't let him show that he's doing the next right thing.
Right, because then you're always stressed, you're always anxious.
Exactly. And I think too, like for that sweet woman, that's such a hard situation, making sure that both she and her husband have like good people in their corners outside of their marriage that they can talk to.
Right, because that's something that, I mean, you can't walk through alone. You can't.
No, and you're not meant to. And there's some of the feelings that come up in situations like that are so big and so heavy. And especially like if you're the betrayed spouse, if you're the one like who feels so betrayed, there's a lot of anger there, right? And not all of that anger needs to get poured out onto your spouse, right?
Right. We were just talking about anger, and
yes,
that's not, a super healthy thing always.
yes, that in this context, right? Like it's valid. Like
right?
it's normal. Like of course you'd be angry, just like how God was angry when the Israelites would worship other gods. It's the same kind of anger, because God describes his relationship with the Israelites as his bride, right? So there's a lot of overlap between a marital relationship and our relationship with God. And so that anger is like healthy, because that relationship shouldn't have been there.
Right. Because your marriage relationship is so sacred and so important and foundational.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I would encourage her to get a person, at least one in her corner that's safe, that's not going to broadcast her business, right? That loves her and her husband, I think is another important thing. A lot of times if we talk to family, they're biased kind of in one direction or another because they love us, and that's a good thing. But having someone in your corner that loves you and
you want someone championing your marriage, not just you.
Exactly. And even getting professional help in some of those situations, because it can feel like I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to begin here, and so getting some professional help, someone who's walked through infidelity with couples before, so that they can just help you, like that couple specifically is what they're dealing with, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And hopefully that was an encouragement to the person who asked this question.